The wind on planet Ariane 6 was always cold at night. Clouds moved slowly across the purple sky, and the forest around the human outpost whispered like something alive. John Mercer, a human engineer, was used to this silence. He had lived alone on this remote planet for almost 8 months. His job was simple: maintain the small research station, keep the machines running, and report anything unusual to the main colony. Nothing unusual had happened for a long time, until the food began disappearing. At first, John thought he was just miscounting his rations. Maybe he had eaten one extra pack during a long shift. Maybe he had forgotten he opened a container. Living alone made the days blend together, but after 4 nights, he was sure someone or something was taking his food. John sat at his tiny metal table, staring at the empty food container. He tapped his fingers on the table. "This is not a mistake," he whispered to himself. He checked the security camera on the wall. It showed nothing except a blurry flash near the storage area at night. No animal he knew moved that fast. No human should be out here. The nearest colony was hundreds of miles away. He felt a small chill run down his spine. Something was watching his base. John decided to set a trap, not a dangerous one, just enough to detect movement. He placed a motion sensor near the food crates outside the main door. If anything touched the crate, an alarm would ring inside the shelter. Hours passed. John tried to sleep, but he kept waking up to check the monitor. The forest was quiet, too quiet. Then, at midnight, the alarm screamed. John jumped out of bed. His heart raced. He grabbed his flashlight and rushed to the door. When he opened it, the cold night air hit his face like a slap. He could hear the sound of small footsteps near the crates. Something was there. He slowly stepped forward, holding the flashlight high. The beam of light cut through the darkness like a sword. Leaves rustled. A shadow moved, small, quick, and thin. John felt his breath stop. He moved closer. The shadow froze beside the food crate. For a moment, John thought it was a child, but no human child had glowing silver eyes. When the light landed fully on the figure, John finally saw her, an alien girl. She was young, maybe 14 by human comparison. Her skin was pale blue, and she was thin, almost starving. Her dark hair was messy, tangled with leaves. She wore torn clothing made from strange fabric. In her shaking hands, she held one of John's food packs. For a second, neither of them moved. The girl stared at him like a cornered animal. John lifted his hands slowly. "It's okay," he said softly. "I won't hurt you." But the alien girl didn't believe him. She took one step back, then another. Her legs trembled as if she could barely stand. Her silver eyes were wide with fear. She tried to run, but her strength failed. Her foot slipped on the dirt, and she fell to her knees. The food pack dropped from her hands and rolled toward John. The girl lowered her head, panting heavily. Her arms wrapped around her stomach, as if she were in deep pain. John knelt down a few feet away, careful not to get too close. Hey, it's okay," he said. "You're hurt. You look hungry. How long have you been out here?" The girl didn't answer. She kept her hands on the ground and tried to crawl backward, her body shaking. John noticed how thin she really was. Her arms looked like sticks, her collarbones sharp beneath her skin. She had not eaten well for days, maybe weeks. He spoke in a calm, low voice. "I'm not going to take you somewhere bad. I'm not going to call anyone. You don't have to run." For the first time, the girl looked directly into his eyes. There was fear but also desperation. The wind blew gently, carrying the cold night smell of metal and forest. The girl finally whispered something, so soft John almost didn't hear it. "Please, don't hurt me." John froze. Her voice was weak, shaking, almost breaking. It wasn't just fear, it was the fear of someone who had already suffered. Someone expecting pain. She thought humans hurt aliens. She thought he would hurt her. John's throat tightened. What had she gone through? Who had frightened her this much? He placed the flashlight on the ground and slowly raised both hands again, showing he had no weapon. "I won't hurt you," he repeated. "Let me help you, please." The girl blinked. A small tear rolled down her cheek. She was too tired to run again. John moved a little closer, slow and careful. "I'm going to take you inside," he said gently. "It's warm in there. You can rest." The girl didn't speak. She didn't nod. But she didn't resist when John reached out and helped her stand. She was so light it felt like lifting a feather. As they walked toward the shelter, John couldn't stop thinking, why is she here? Why is she starving? And why is she so afraid of humans? He didn't know the answers yet, But he knew one thing: his life on this quiet planet was about to change completely. John pushed open the door of his shelter, guiding the weak alien girl inside. Warm air touched her skin, and she flinched like she was expecting pain. The moment her feet crossed the doorway, she stopped and looked around with wide, frightened eyes. The shelter was small, just a metal room with tools, a table, and a small heater. But to her, it must have looked strange and dangerous. Machines hummed softly. Lights glowed on the panels. She stared at everything like she had never seen human technology before. John closed the door slowly, not wanting to scare her. "You're safe here," he said. But the girl backed away from the center of the room. She pressed herself against the far wall, avoiding the light, her breathing fast and shallow. She looked like an animal trapped in a cage. John kept his distance. "Don't worry," he whispered. "You're not my prisoner." The alien girl's lips trembled. "You human," she whispered, as if the word itself hurt her. John felt something heavy settle in his chest. "Yes, I'm human, but not all humans are bad." She shook her head quickly, too quickly. "No, humans take, humans hurt, humans hunt." Her voice broke. John stepped back, shocked. "Hunt? Who hunted you?" The girl looked down, her thin fingers gripping the torn fabric of her clothes. For a long moment, she didn't speak. Her eyes were full of memories, dark ones. John grabbed a blanket from a drawer and slowly placed it on the floor near her. "You can sit," he said softly. "You look cold." She didn't sit at first. She watched the blanket like it was a trap. Only after a long pause did she finally lower herself onto it. Trembling. John took a water bottle and placed it halfway between them. "You can drink. It's clean." The girl hesitated. Then, with shaking hands, she reached forward and pulled the bottle toward her. She opened it carefully, sniffed it, then took a small sip. Her eyes widened. She took another. Soon, she was drinking like someone who hadn't tasted clean water in weeks. John waited until she finished. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. The girl didn't answer for several seconds. Then she whispered, "Lyra." John nodded. "That's a beautiful name." Lyra swallowed hard, her eyes shining with fear. "You, not collector." John frowned. "Collector, what does that mean?" Lyra shook her head again. Her hair fell over her face, hiding her expression. "They come at night. They take my people. They take children. They take everyone." Her voice cracked like she was reliving the terror. John sat down slowly on the floor, keeping his distance so she would not feel trapped. "Lyra, I don't know who these collectors are, but I'm not one of them." She studied his face, searching for lies. John held her gaze. He kept his expression calm, open, gentle. Finally, her shoulders dropped a little, not relaxed but less tense than before. Lyra wiped her cheek. "I steal food, because I run for a long time. I hide, no home left." Her voice was so soft that John had to lean forward to hear. She continued, "My village, burned, my parents, taken. I run to forest ruins. Hide, no more people, only me." John felt a cold wave inside him. "How long have you been alone?" he asked. Lyra closed her eyes. "Many nights, too many." Her hands shook. Her voice almost disappeared. "I thought you would kill me. I thought humans were all collectors." John shook his head. "I would never hurt you." Lyra stared at him, confused. "Why help me?" John didn't have a complicated answer. "Because you needed help," he said simply. "And because you're just a girl trying to survive." Lyra looked down, her throat tightening. No one had spoken to her kindly in a very long time. That warmth, the tone in John's voice felt strange to her. She didn't know if she could trust it. Then a sudden beep cut through the quiet room. Lyra jumped to her feet in panic. The radar screen above John's desk flashed red. John turned quickly. "Movement outside," he whispered. Lyra's breathing became fast again. She grabbed the blanket like a shield. "They found me. They found me," she repeated in terror. John checked the scanner. 3 signals. Moving slowly, close to the forest edge. Not animals. Asterisk. Not random travelers. Something or someone was searching. John's heartbeat grew heavy. If Lyra was telling the truth, then whoever these collectors were, they might be hunting her right now. He turned to her. "Lyra, listen to me. You're safe. I won't let anyone take you." Lyra stepped backward until she hit the wall. "No, they always find, they always take." John shook his head firmly. "Not this time." He walked toward the control panel and shut off the outer lights. The room grew dim. Shadows stretched across the floor. Lyra watched him with scared eyes. but she saw that his movements were calm, steady, protective. John wasn't afraid for himself. He was afraid for her. He walked back to her side. "We need to stay quiet," he whispered, "and I need you to trust me. Just a little." Lyra hugged the blanket close to her chest. Her voice trembled. "You protect me. Why?" John looked at her, really looked. This girl had lost everything. She had run through forests, slept in ruins, starved, suffered, and still fought to stay alive, because no one should face the universe alone. He whispered, "Not even you." Lyra stared at him. For the first time, something new entered her eyes. Not fear, not confusion. Hope. But the radar beeped again, louder this time. The unknown signals were getting closer, much closer, and John realized something. This was only the beginning. The radar beeped again, sharp and urgent, filling the small shelter with red light. 3 signals moved slowly but steadily toward the outpost. John stared at the screen, his jaw tightening. Whoever they were not wandering by accident. Their path was to focus. They were coming for something, or someone. Behind him, Lyra stood frozen near the wall, holding the blanket like armor. Her silver eyes were wide with terror. "They found me," she whispered. "Collectors, they come." John turned to her quickly. "Lyra, we don't know who they are yet." But Lyra shook her head, trembling. I know how they move. They search, they track, they always come at night." Her voice cracked. "They want me." John felt a deep unease. "What do they want you for?" Lyra didn't answer at once. She lowered her head, her voice shaking. "My people have something they want, and I am the last who knows how to find it." That sentence hit John like cold water. "The last?" he asked gently. Lyra nodded slowly. "My family, my village, everyone taken, only me left now." John exhaled, the weight of her words sinking in. He needed answers, but right now, danger was moving closer. He stepped toward the window, peeking through the small metal slit. The forest outside was dark, only faint moonlight between the tall alien trees. He couldn't see movement, but he felt it, like the night itself was holding its breath. John turned back to Lyra. "We need to hide," he said, "but we can't stay here. If those people break in, they will find both of us." Lyra hugged herself. "Where we go?" John moved quickly toward the floor panel near the desk. He knelt and pulled the metal lid upward. Beneath it was a narrow tunnel, reinforced with steel plates. "This leads to the old mining shafts," he explained. "No one knows about them, not even the colony. It's the safest place right now." Lyra stared into the dark tunnel, fear returning to her face. "It looks deep, it is," John admitted, "but it's safe, and I'll be with you the whole way." Lyra hesitated. She had spent months hiding in ruins, afraid of every shadow. Trusting someone, especially a human, was not easy. But those approaching signals, they were closer every second. She took a shaky breath and nodded. John helped her climb down the ladder, then grabbed his flashlight, a small medkit, and 2 ration packs. He closed the hatch behind him and locked it. For a moment, everything was quiet except the sound of their breathing echoing in the tunnel. John switched on his flashlight. A thin white beam cut through the darkness. "Stay close," he said. Lyra followed him, her steps slow and careful. The tunnel walls were damp, old from years of inactivity. The air smelled of dust and metal, but at least down here, they were hidden. As they walked, John asked softly, "Lyra, these collectors, who are they? Humans? Aliens?" Lyra swallowed. "They look human, but not like you. No mercy, no kindness. They take life like it is nothing. They want power. They want the core." John frowned. "The core? What is that?" Lyra hesitated again. "It is an ancient energy in my world. Very strong. My people protect it for many ages. It can help life, or destroy life. Collectors want it for war." John felt a chill run along his spine. "And you know where it is?" Lyra nodded slowly. "My parents teach me before they hide me. They say, run until safe. Protect the core. But I never find safe." She looked away, her voice shaking. "Until you." John felt the weight of her trust. A girl who had lost everything now depended on him. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a hero. He was just an engineer on a lonely planet. But he couldn't leave her alone. "You're safe now," he said quietly. But as soon as he said it, a loud bang echoed above them. Lyra jumped. John's heart dropped. Another bang, and another. "They break your house," Lyra whispered in horror. John clenched his jaw. "They're searching." He moved faster through the tunnel. The ground shook slightly. Heavy footsteps above. Whoever the collectors were, they had found his shelter, and they were tearing through it. Lyra caught up beside him. "John, why you help me?" she asked suddenly, her voice trembling. "You could give me to them. You could let them take me." John took a breath, because he didn't deserve any of this, and because no one should be hunted. Lyra looked at him, studying him like she was trying to understand something she had never seen before. "You are different from them," she whispered. John didn't answer. He didn't need to. Right now, surviving was more important. They reached a metal door at the end of the tunnel. John pushed it open, and they stepped into a large underground chamber. Broken machines lay scattered around. Old mining equipment, dusty storage crates, rusty pipes. Lyra looked around with wide eyes. "This place, big enough to hide in," John said. He walked to the far side of the chamber and activated a small backup power unit. A few dim lights flickered on, casting long shadows across the stone floor. Lyra stepped closer to him. "John, they will not stop. They will search and search." "I know," he answered, "but they won't find us here tonight." Lyra took a slow breath, her fear calming just a little. "You protect me even if danger comes for you too." John nodded. "That's what humans do. Real humans." Lyra gave him a small, fragile look of trust one she had not given anyone in a very long time. But then a distant metallic sound echoed down the tunnel. Slow, heavy, growing louder. Lyra's eyes widened. They found the tunnel. John grabbed her hand. "Lyra, the conflict had truly begun." The heavy metallic sound echoed again through the tunnel, slow, powerful, and far too close. John felt the vibration through the floor. Whoever the collectors were, they had found the hidden shaft. They were moving toward the chamber. Lyra's breathing grew sharp. "They come, they always come," she whispered. John squeezed her hand. "Not tonight," he said firmly. "Keep moving." He led her deeper into the large underground chamber. Farther from the tunnel entrance, the dim lights flickered overhead, making long shadows dance along the rocky walls. Dust filled the air, disturbed by their fast steps. Lyra glanced back again and again, expecting silhouettes to appear at any moment. John guided her to the far wall, where old mining tools and metal crates were piled together. Behind those crates was a narrow passage most people would miss at first sight. "This way," John whispered. Lyra followed him through the cramped opening. The air inside was colder, carrying a faint metallic smell. It felt older, untouched for years, maybe decades. "Where does this go?" Lyra asked, her voice shaking. John pointed his flashlight forward. "I'm not sure, but the blueprint showed some kind of ancient chamber behind this area, maybe part of the old alien ruins." Lyra stopped, her silver eyes widened. "Alien ruins?" "Yes," John said. "A long time ago, your people lived on this planet too, right?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Long before humans came, my people built many places underground. Safe places, secret places." John raised an eyebrow. "Secret places?" Lyra swallowed. "Places to hide important things, like the core." John froze. The core, the ancient energy she spoke about. The reason collectors wanted her. He turned to her slowly. "Lyra, is the core here? On this planet?" Lyra lowered her head. "My parents bring me here before they hide me. They say this planet is last safe place for the core. They say I must protect it, even if they cannot." John felt the air grow heavier. "So the collectors followed you here?" Lyra nodded. "And they will not stop until they find me." "And the core?" A cold silence filled the tunnel. Before John could respond, a deep echo rolled through the earth like a distant explosion. Dust rained from the ceiling. Lyra looked terrified. "They break the tunnel doors. We need to keep going," John said urgently. The narrow passage slowly opened into a wide stone chamber, very different from the mining area. The walls were covered in glowing alien symbols that pulsed like soft blue fire. The floor was smooth and ancient, untouched by human hands. Lyra took a step forward, her eyes full of awe and sadness. "This is my people's place." John looked around, amazed. "Your ancestors built this?" "Yes," she whispered. "This is a memory chamber. It tells the story of our past." John shined the flashlight along the walls. Strange symbols curved in beautiful patterns. Some glowed brighter when Lyra came near them. He noticed something important. The symbols reacted to her. Lyra walked to the center platform. When her foot touched it, the entire chamber awakened with a soft hum. The symbols brightened, filling the room with gentle blue light. John gasped. "It recognizes you." Lyra nodded. My people protected the core for thousands of years. Only our blood can unlock the path to it. She placed her hand on the center pillar. A soft ripple of light ran across the platform. The air around them shimmered. More symbols lit up along the walls, forming a glowing map. John stared in shock. Lyra, this is incredible. Lyra didn't smile. Her eyes filled with tears. My people die for this, she whispered. My family die for this. They give everything so the core stays safe. John stepped closer, speaking gently. Lyra, I'm sorry. I truly am. She wiped her face, her voice breaking. I want to be brave. I want to protect the core like my parents say. But I am tired. Always running, always hiding. She sank to her knees, overwhelmed. John hesitated, then knelt beside her. You don't have to do this alone anymore, he said softly. I'm here with you. Lyra looked at him, eyes full of confusion. Why? Why do you help me so much? You don't even know me. John smiled faintly. You're a child who lost everything. That's enough reason. Humans have a rule. When someone needs help, you help. Lyra stared at him as if she had never heard such a rule before. Then, suddenly, a loud metallic crash echoed from the other side of the chamber. Lyra flinched. They are close. John quickly stood and scanned the chamber. Where is the exit? Another tunnel. Lyra wiped her tears and pointed toward a stone door at the far wall. There, behind that door is the path to the core. But it opens only with my touch. John nodded. Then we're going through. Lyra stood, placing her small hand on the stone door. The symbols glowed brighter. A deep rumble shook the room as the ancient door unlocked with a loud grinding sound. But before the door fully opened, footsteps echoed behind them, slow, heavy, closer. John turned sharply, his flashlight shaking in his hand. A dark silhouette appeared in the chamber's entrance. Lyra gasped. No. The figure stepped forward, armored, tall, and silent. A collector. John's heart pounded. Lyra grabbed his arm. They found us. John stepped in front of her. For the first time in his quiet life, he felt something fierce grow inside him. He wasn't just protecting a stranger. He was protecting the last hope of an entire people. And he would not let anyone take her. Not now. Not ever. The night in the ruined cargo station was colder than before. But something else made the air feel heavy now. Not Alex's fear. Not even the alien girl's fear. But the fear of what was coming for them. Alex did not sleep. He sat near the broken wall, watching the shadows move in the dark corners. Lyra stayed behind him, curled up like a child hiding from a nightmare. Every small sound made her jump. Every spark of wind made her look over her shoulder. Alex knew she was not afraid of him anymore. She was afraid of someone, or something, much worse. He needed answers, but he did not want to force her. He waited until she finally whispered, Alex, they are coming. Her voice was shaking like dry leaves. He turned to her. Who is coming? He asked gently. Lyra hugged her knees and lowered her head. Hunters, the ones who used me, the ones who want me back. Alex felt a cold wave move through his chest. Why do they want you? Lyra hesitated, her eyes filled with a shine he had not seen before, not fear, but deep pain. They need my ability, she whispered. My people can sense energy, life energy, food sources, hidden things. Alex understood slowly. She was not stealing food just to survive. She was valuable. She was being used like a tool, a detector. Lyra looked up at him with trembling eyes. I escaped, but they marked me. They can track me. Even now. Alex stood up and moved to the entrance of the station. He looked out into the dark Alaskan forest. The sky above was filled with stars, but something felt wrong. Too quiet, too still. Then he saw it. Far away, tiny blue lights flickering through the trees. Not fire, not lamps, not drones. Something else. Something alien. Lyra stood beside him now, shaking. They found me, she whispered. Her voice almost broke. Alex clenched his fists. He had survived storms, wolves, and harsh loneliness in Alaska. But this was different. He looked back at her. You're not alone now, he said softly. Lyra stared at him like she did not understand the meaning of those words. No one, no human, has ever protected me, she whispered. Alex gave a small smile. Then I'll be the first. Lyra stepped back in fear. You don't understand, she said. The hunters will not stop. They will destroy everything in their way. They will take me, and they will kill you. But Alex didn't move. His voice stayed calm. Let them try. Lyra stared at him, shocked. She had seen many humans in her time as a slave, but never one like this. never one who would stand up against danger for someone like her. Then a loud metallic sound echoed through the forest, like something heavy stepping on metal ground, followed by a second step, then a third. The hunters were near. Alex grabbed his old flashlight and turned it off immediately. Darkness wrapped around them. Lyra stood close to him, breathing fast, her hands shaking like leaves in a storm. He whispered, "Stay behind me." Lyra pressed her hands to her chest, tears forming in her eyes. "No, Alex, I cannot hide behind you. I should run, so they don't hurt you." Alex shook his head. No one should run alone. She covered her mouth to stop herself from crying. For the first time in her life, someone chose to protect her. Another heavy step came. The blue lights glowed brighter. Shadows began to move through the trees. Armored, silent, Lyra whispered desperately, "Alex, please, we must escape." Alex took a slow breath. He didn't know how strong these hunters were. He didn't know what weapons they had. He didn't know if he could save her. But he knew one thing: he could not abandon her. He turned to her again. "Lyra, listen," he whispered. "We will survive this." "How?" she asked, voice trembling. "They are stronger, faster, smarter." Alex gave a small grin. "But they're not human," he said. Something shifted in the air, a spark of HFY spirit. That old human fire, asterisk, and deep in the forest. The blue lights stopped moving. Silence fell, a deep, heavy silence. Then a metallic voice echoed through the trees. "Lyra 7 detected. Prepare for retrieval." Lyra's breath stopped. Alex's heart pounded. The hunters were here, and the night was about to explode into chaos. Asterisk. The hunters stepped from the forest like metal giants. Their bodies were tall and armored, covered in glowing blue lines that moved like veins. Their faces had no eyes, only a single dark visor that shined with a cold light. They were not alive like humans. They were built. They were programmed. They were made to find Lyra and to control her. Alex felt the ground shake under their heavy steps. Lyra grabbed his sleeve with a trembling hand. Her entire body was shaking now. "Alex, please. They will take me," she whispered. "They will hurt you. Please run." Alex did not move. His eyes stayed locked on the approaching hunters. "No," he said quietly, "I'm not running." Lyra stared at him in confusion and fear. "No human ever fights the hunters," she said. "They are too strong. They never lose." Alex gave a small, calm smile. "Maybe they've never met the right human." Asterisk. The hunters stopped only 20 steps away. Their metal feet dug into the dirt with a grinding sound. One of them raised an arm. A blue scanner beam swept across Alex and Lyra. The voice returned, cold and empty. "Lyra 7 identified. Human interference detected. Neutralize the human." Lyra gasped. "No, don't hurt him," she cried. She ran in front of Alex, arms spread wide, her small frame shaking as she tried to shield him. "He helped me. He fed me. He protected me." But the hunters did not react to emotion. They did not fear. They did not listen. They did not care. The hunter lifted a glowing weapon. Blue sparks danced at the tip. Alex grabbed Lyra's arm and pulled her back behind him. "Stay down," he said softly. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. "No, Alex, you will die." Alex didn't answer. Instead, he grabbed the only thing he had, a metal pipe lying near the station wall. Old, rusty, not even sharp, but for a human with nothing left to lose, it was enough. The hunter fired. A blue blast cut through the air like lightning. Alex jumped aside, rolling across the ground. The blast hit the wall behind him, exploding into bright sparks. Lyra screamed his name. "Alex." He stood again quickly, even though his hands were shaking. He charged at the nearest hunter, not because he thought he could win, but because he refused to step aside. He swung the pipe. The metal hit the hunter's chest with a loud, cracking sound. It did nothing. The hunter did not even move. Instead, it turned its head slowly toward him. The visor glowed brighter, almost as if annoyed. Alex stepped back, breath heavy. He whispered, "Okay, that didn't work." The hunter raised its arm to strike. But then something unexpected happened. Lyra screamed. Not a normal scream, not a human scream. Her cry echoed through the air like a wave of light. A strange energy burst from her hands, invisible but strong. The ground vibrated under Alex's feet. The hunters suddenly froze. Their bodies stopped moving. Their lights flickered violently. Their visors darkened like dying flames. Alex looked back at Lyra in shock. What did you do?" he asked. Lyra fell to her knees, breathing hard. "My people. We can control life energy. And machines. Machines are full of it. Stored energy. I never tried it before, but I wanted to protect you. The hunters began shaking, their systems trying to restart. Lyra's energy was too strong for them. She looked up at Alex, eyes full of fear. I cannot hold them for long. Run. Alex walked to her and shook his head. No, he said softly. We finish this together. He looked at the frozen hunters. They were strong, fast, deadly, but now they were vulnerable. Alex grabbed the metal pipe again. This time he smashed the first hunter's visor with all his strength. Glass shattered. Sparks flew. The machine collapsed. He moved to the second, then the third. Each blow destroying what Lyra had weakened. Metal fell. Sparks burned the ground. The forest echoed with the sound of breaking machines. Finally, silence. Only the wind moved between the trees. Lyra collapsed forward, hands on the ground, her breathing weak and slow. Alex rushed to her and held her shoulders. Lyra, hey, stay with me. She opened her eyes slowly. You saved me. Again, she whispered. Alex shook his head. No, he said softly. You saved both of us. She smiled faintly, tired, but free. For the first time in her life, Alex looked at the broken hunters around them. He knew more would come someday. He knew this wasn't the end of all danger. But tonight, a human and an alien girl survived together. A bond formed between two strangers who once feared each other. Lyra leaned her head against his arm. You were different from other humans, she whispered. Alex looked at the stars above and smiled. Maybe, he said. Or maybe humans are just full of surprises. And the night finally felt warm again. The end, or the beginning of something much bigger.